Making everyone happy on vacation isn't easy, but you know what is? Going to Aruba. All you have to do is walk out your door to find pristine pools, relaxing white sand beaches, and an island teeming with outdoor activities that'll put a smile on any face. You won't just feel great, you'll all feel great, filled with a calmer, more peaceful vibe that radiates Aruba's warmth. And the best part is, it never fades. That's the Aruba effect. Plan your family trip at Aruba.com.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use, but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 2258. What to do after a breakup to end painful relationship patterns, part 2, by Renee Suzanne with tinybuddha.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ORD with me, your host and narrator, Greg Audino. And today we're going to be finishing up a longer post we started reading from yesterday, so be sure to listen to yesterday's episode 2257 if you haven't already. But if you have, let's keep on keeping on as we turn to part 2 and continue optimizing your life. What to do after a breakup to end painful relationship patterns, part 2, by Renee Suzanne with tinybuddha.com. When I did this exercise, I realized that many of the men I dated had kept me at a distance, just as my parents had. It seemed to be my default setting in relationships. I was afraid to really let anyone see me and have a chance to possibly disapprove of me, so I remained aloof and chose unavailable partners. I also saw that I had remained in relationships long after I knew in my heart that they weren't going to work. I simply could not bring myself to face what was happening. After you've had a chance to reflect, pick 5 things on your list that you'd like to change and write about what you need to do to create a new experience in your next relationship. Do you see a common thread in these relationships? Have you been engaging in behaviors that are not working for you? As long as you continue to believe that life is happening to you, you'll continue to get the same results. Ask yourself how you're contributing to the state of your relationships and determine what things you'll do differently in the future. I decided to be more proactive in my future dating experiences by asking more questions and taking the time to get to know someone new before jumping into a relationship. I also became more vulnerable and honest about what I was looking for on dates, instead of just hoping we'd be on the same page. Once you've done these things, you'll have a much better idea of where you stand and where you'd like to go next. Take the time to do this thoroughly, and you will bring more clarity and understanding to your next relationship. No matter how awful your last relationship was, how wrong the other person was, or how ready you think you are to find someone new, you must look at your part in this relationship, or you'll be very likely to repeat your experience. Be willing to accept responsibility for your life, your past, and your future. The common denominator in all of your relationships is you. You were there for all of them. If you have a pattern of being cheated on, mistreated, or dumped, you owe it to yourself to take a closer look at why these things happened. This doesn't mean that the other person was blameless, but you're the only one you can do anything about. If you don't want to keep dating these types of people, take a closer look at what's been happening. Do you have a pattern of tolerating mistreatment from those you date? Do you overlook red flags early on? At what point did you see that things were heading south? What, if anything, did you do about it? Did you speak up or self-abandon? Did you hang on and try to save a broken relationship? Did you try to change him or her? Before you start dating again, sit down with a pen and paper and ask yourself these questions. Be willing to examine your actions, but don't beat up on yourself. You were doing the best you could, and it won't help to judge yourself harshly or rehash every detail of your relationship looking for all your quote-unquote mistakes. This is a process of self-discovery and finding a better way, much like looking in the mirror and correcting your form at the gym. Treat yourself with tenderness and compassion. A breakup is a very real loss and should not be minimized. If you make the effort to learn everything you can, breakups can serve you by providing insight that will help you create a better relationship next time. Most of us are encouraged to move on immediately after a breakup. But if you try to do that without laying a good foundation, you're more likely to get into another relationship that ends up not working. After taking the time to mourn your loss and learn all you can from it, moving on is the best thing to do. When the time comes, it helps to get closure. Purge any remaining relics of the relationship and set a course for your future. First, write a goodbye letter to your ex. No need to mail it, this can just be for you. Or sit in a chair with another chair facing you where you can imagine him or her sitting and have a conversation for closure. Get everything out and don't hold back. This is for you. You don't want to carry these thoughts and feelings with you into the future, so deal with them now. Next, go through your home and pack up all of your ex's belongings and gifts he or she gave you, any reminders of the relationship. Set a date on which you resolve to begin dating again. Take photos for an online profile. Buy new clothes, new bedding, or get a new hairstyle or a makeover. Do something new. Take up a hobby. Make new friends. And finally, sit down and write a paragraph about what you want your next relationship to be like. How would you like to feel in this relationship? Write about what kind of person you want to be with. Don't hold back. Write down everything you'd like to experience. Going through a breakup is one of the hardest things we humans face. Making an effort to understand what happened and your part in it will go a long way toward helping you have a better relationship next time around. You'll be much better off taking the time to reflect than running out and looking for someone else immediately. As for me, I forced myself to follow this very process after my last breakup, and I was able to have a much better relationship when I got back to dating. I'm convinced I would have never been ready for it if I just kept up my gig as a professional dater. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled, What to Do After a Breakup to End Painful Relationship Patterns by Renee Suzanne with tinybuddha.com. And stick around, I'll be back with my comments in just a minute.
Storms a brewin'? Crocs Echo Storm, that is. It's their most striking sneaker that is the perfect blend of form and function. From a sink-in soft feel to a seamless slip-on design, the Storm will help you build your streetwear style while supporting you wherever the day takes you. Plus, there are brand new colorways you won't want to miss. Shop Crocs Echo Storm on crocs.com today.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
All right, and a great finish from Renee. Thanks to her for that. I really love the note she made about being more vocal on her dates going forward, asking more questions, being more vulnerable, and what I feel is ultimately stepping more into the mindset of, I hope I like them, more so than I hope they like me. And I think that one great way of doing that is to be forthcoming about some of her findings from past relationships. Now, not to say that this has to come out on the first date necessarily, but it could be a great way of owning that vulnerability she talked about. To be upfront about what we've learned about our own shortcomings, and the fact that we're committed to improving upon them. Should these admissions land on the right ears, you could find yourself with a person who immediately recognizes and seizes an opportunity to support you. So, with that, we have reached the end for today, everybody. As always, I thank you for being here, and in this case, tuning in for both parts of this post. I hope you enjoyed it and took something from it. Have a great rest of your day, and be sure to join us again tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.